everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Kurt Aaron. We're standing in the severe weather set where we are always here for you when severe weather strikes. But we also know there's a ton of other things going on in the weather that affect us every single day. So we decided to take a look at weather and some of the fun things that it offers. We're calling that show the Stormtracker 16 Cloud to Ground. You'll soon find out that you have a huge part in making it interesting, fun, and special to northeastern and central Pennsylvania. And the team sure hopes that you'll enjoy the show. And speaking of the show, to get things started, here's our good friend, Joe Snedeker.
Hi folks, and welcome to the Lightning Round. This is the new weekly segment where we're going to answer your questions about weather, about anything. Well, keep it more meteorological. And this one came in from a wonderful person named Jacqueline. So if you have a question, email it to weather@wnep.com. That's what Jacqueline did, and she says, hey Joe, I'm thinking about getting a weather station for our home property. My husband wants one. Maybe for his birthday, Father's Day. I would really appreciate some knowledge on which one to get. Hopefully not too elaborate or expensive. I love it. So here's the deal, folks. Everyone should have a home weather station, right? This one was about $300-400. Now, if you can just look at that for a second and say, that looks kind of weird, maybe this looks better for you. You've seen anemometers spinning around before. This will tell you the wind speed. Well, these in recent years have been replaced by this. So the top of this unit is called a ultrasonic wind meter. It sends sound waves through this platform, and based on the drift of the air, you can tell how fast the air is flowing and in what direction. Isn't that awesome? No moving parts. This is how you tell the temperature and humidity. Notice it's got those little louvers. It shades from direct sunlight. Beautiful. This is a rain gauge. Rain falls in there, mechanical lever inside, switches back and forth and reads the 1/100th of an inch accumulation of rain. And that goes on and on and on. But there's a newfangled type. Look at this guy. Woo! Same thing. Ultrasonic wind measurement, and this is called a haptic rain gauge. And based on the drop frequency hitting the top, you can then estimate how much rain has fallen. No bucket, no gauge. Beautiful, right? So this was about $250. This thing is about $400. This is by Tempest. This is Ambient, A-M-B-I-N-T. But if you search online, weather stations, you'll see a lot like this, and they're all good. And the best part, all the information gets sent to your cell phone. So you could be at work, school, on vacation, and you get to see all the readings from your rain gauge, thermometer, barometer, and wind meter right there on your phone. I'm addicted to this thing. I use it all day long. My wife thinks I'm nuts, but again, she's right. So if you got a question, weather@wnep.com. It's called the Lightning Round. We're doing it every week. All right, folks, let's not stop there. I'm on the roof here at WNEP, and look what we have over here. Ta-da! Our beautiful Davis weather station, and this one has the old school anemometer, radiation shield, there it is for the temperature and humidity measurement, and there's our wind vane showing you the wind direction. So this is a great unit here. These will also cost you about $400 or $500, but woo, let me show you a little glimpse of the backyard. Hey! Hey! So we got it covered with our weather station here, and I just thought you'd like to see all the goodies. You can find a lot of these online, and they've gotten a lot cheaper in the last few decades. Something like this used to be about $2,000, but you can get a good system for under $200-300 in much of the area. So good luck and get yourself a weather station. You'll love it.
Stormtracker 16's Cloud to Ground returns with an eye to the stars and a new story with our own Jeremy Lewan. Welcome back to Stormtracker 16's Cloud to Ground, and let's get right to it with a brand new story from our very own Jeremy Lewan.
2 years ago, this month, a total solar eclipse graced the skies over America. My mom and I had a very unique perspective. We went to California to board Holland America's MS Zondam for Sky and Telescope magazine's sold-out total solar eclipse cruise. Once on board, I attended a science conference on the ship, learning the latest in contemporary astronomy from professional astronomers and astronauts. I interviewed several of them as they explained all aspects of the solar eclipse and more. To make you all feel like you were right there with us, I recorded a 360-degree panoramic video from the top deck of the cruise ship as totality occurred off the coast of Mexico. I created 7 Jeremy's Journey segments leading up to the eclipse and broadcasted live twice to share an exclusive look at our unique experience on board the vessel. It was the first time WNEP had a presence in a different country in over a decade. The first time we ever had a presence in Mexico, and the first time we broadcasted live from another country or from a cruise ship. In the months leading up to the eclipse, I explained solar eclipse science and safety during weather segments, and I went to schools and science centers and STEAM fairs with presentations about the eclipse. And right before I left for the big trip, I put together a news story about events slated to occur right here in central and northeastern Pennsylvania, so that you could plan where to go on Eclipse Day and where you could find free eclipse classes. When I returned from the trip, the coverage didn't stop. I put together a final Jeremy's Journeys about a place in Montoursville where you could recycle your solar eclipse glasses instead of throwing them out. The next total solar eclipse will be later this year on August 12th in Greenland, Iceland, and Spain. The next time we can expect to see a total solar eclipse here in Pennsylvania again, 2079. Jeremy Lewan, Newswatch 16.
In this edition of Whiteboard Weather, I'm going to get to the bottom of a heated discussion I've had an opinion on for a long time. But before we get into it, let's roll the intro. All right, we have a whiteboard, we have some weather, and let's get into it. Now, I may have to retire this black marker. As you see, it started off strong, and then for some reason, this marker is fading out a little bit as I'm drawing with it. It's not great, so we'll use some other colored marker. Let's use purple. All right, so the debate today, it came to me the other day. I was talking with Jeremy, and we've had these setups now where it's rained at night, but the majority of the day would be dry. Now, we don't use percentage of precipitation here at Newswatch 16. We don't do that. And there's a reason why, because it's controversial. So I said, okay, so it's not going to rain the entire day, and it's going to rain about 8, 9 o'clock. What percentage would you put the precipitation that day if we did do it, in theory? Jeremy, and maybe some of you at home, think about that for a second. What percentage, not going to rain all day, 8, 9 o'clock, we're likely going to see a downpour. What percentage would you put? Jeremy said 60%. Me, I said 20%. See how much different it is? We're both degreed meteorologists. Even we can't agree on the percentage of precipitation. You may have a completely different number to yourself at home, and that's where the debate starts. So let's flip the whiteboard and let's talk about percentages of precipitation. Okay, so there are a lot of ways you could determine this. I've seen meteorologists say they use a formula. They use a formula of coverage of the area times their confidence. So let's say you think 50% of the area is going to receive rain, but you're not too confident, so you're going to put a random number, like you're 40% confident in your forecast. You're going to multiply these two and get a number of 20%. For me, I just think doing a math formula, what is 40% confident? If you're not confident, you're kind of confident. I don't really like this method. The second is just pure coverage. Let's say we look at this map, we think we can split it in half, we think 50% is going to see rain, 50% not. I think that's a valid method, but I don't like doing that. There's the scientific rule. This is the definition that the National Weather Service does. So for any points, Williamsport, Scranton, Mount Pocono, the odds that that point in any period will see rainfall, as in 0.01 inches or more of rainfall. That is the definition. So let's say we think Scranton, again, 2 a.m. Scranton's going to see some rainfall. Probably. We're going to put 90% chance. But if you see that on your weather app, if you see that, you'd be like, oh, 90%. Oh, I might as well just pack the bags. That's not a good day to go out. So that's why I don't think it's a valid method of doing percentages of precipitation. So any given point, I think this is valid when doing an hour by hour. So let's say you're doing 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Hey, in Scranton, we think there's a 30% odds that's going to rain between that hour period. We think it's going to be 40, and then it bumps up to 50%. I think that's a valid point because you're only talking about an hour. But when you're talking about a day, it's different. An hour time frame, that's a lot. Okay, I got baseball practice between 6 and 8 o'clock. They're saying it's 40% chance. But the rest of the day, it's not going to rain. You have to change the percentages of precipitation. So my theory, right? I forecasted in Florida, and I still hold this theory. The percentage of precipitation, the pop number, it's not a mathematical formula. It's not a scientific number. It is a vibe number. Again, we do not use it as a WNEP because nobody really understands. So I use it as in how much of my day is going to be ruined, how much is it going to play out. So let's do a scenario, right? There's a hurricane here coming up the coast. There's a hurricane in the Atlantic. It's spinning up, and we're gonna get walloped by it. It's gonna rain for most of the day. I never like doing 100% chance for rain. A hurricane, I'd probably do a 90% chance for rain. It's gonna be raining all day. You're really not gonna have any breaks. We do not advise you to go outside. It's gonna be windy. That's a 90% chance for rain. Let's say it's a summer day, right? It's a summer day. It's the middle of July. It's one of those days where it's like 94 degrees. And then in the afternoon, we're like, okay, there's going to be some pop-up showers and thunderstorms. We just don't know where they're going to be. I'd give that about a 30% chance for rain. There'd be some spotty showers and thunderstorms passing in. But let's just say there's a cold front coming in. There's a big cold front, Arctic air pushing in, and we see a line of thunderstorms. There's a cold front. There's all these storms popping up, pressing through northeast and central Pennsylvania. It's going to be raining, let's say, between 8 o'clock in the morning and about 1 p.m. That's when I do my 60%. Like, we're pretty confident that's going to push in. So it's all of a vibe forecast. You're not calculating the mean error. You're not doing anything like that. It's just a way to communicate this is how much of your day is going to be ruined. Hey, if you see an afternoon downpour, 30% of your day is going to be ruined. You're playing baseball outside. It's going to be pouring. You may see a lightning strike. That's 30% chance. If a big hurricane is coming up, hey, listen, we don't want you outside. That's 90%. Anything above 80%, I'm saying, okay, that's not going to be, it's going to be more so a washout. So that is my general theory behind things. Viewers at home, let me know. Is there anything that you think percentage of precipitation is, whether it's the area coverage, or probably some other ones, how heavy it's going to be, anything like that? Any preconceived notions? So good thing we don't use percentages of precipitation because, again, it can be very well misconstrued. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and I'll see you once again next week on Whiteboard Weather.
Now don't go anywhere. Our very own Ali Gallo knows that learning from the past can help us predict the future. She will take us back in time and show us what Mother Nature can do. Stormtracker 16's Cloud to Ground returns in a moment. And welcome back to Cloud to Ground. Now our very own Ali Gallo has her time machine set, and it's time for her to go. Take it away, Ali.
Earlier this week, we had a hard freeze all across northeastern and central Pennsylvania. It dropped to 24 degrees here in the Scranton area, which broke the previous record of 26 set back in 1925. It hasn't been that cold that late in April in more than 100 years. But last week, we were flirting with record warmth. 3 days in a row of highs well in the 80s. We may be used to that kind of weather whiplash here in Pennsylvania, especially in the month of April, but that doesn't make it any easier for our crops or flowers. The average start to the growing season for both the Scranton and Williamsport areas is the last week of April. Of course, it is not an exact science, but since record keeping began more than 100 years ago, the average last 32-degree temperature recorded for the spring season is around April 25th in Scranton and around April 28th in Williamsport. In colder places like the Poconos and the Northern Tier, the average start to the growing season is a bit later, around mid-May. The latest 32-degree temperature ever recorded here in the Scranton area was in 1956. It fell below 32 degrees on May 25th that year. In 2023, we had a hard freeze very late in the season, on May 18th. An overnight low temperature of 32 degrees that late in May has only happened 5 other times in the Scranton area. Newswatch 16 spent the early morning hours that day here at Heller Orchards in Wapwallopin. The Heller family used these wind machines to help protect the fruit trees. They also built more than 100 campfires to create warmth for the peach trees.
I think it's very emotional and raw because my dad and my family put so much work into this, and you don't want to see it go down the drain just from one single day.
Here at OHF Orchards near Bloomsburg in Columbia County, farmers lost nearly 40% of the overall yield in that late season freeze. We recently returned to OHF Orchards this year to see how the crops were doing. Co-owner Patrick O'Hara told Newswatch 16 that in a perfect world, it slowly gets warm throughout the season so that everything slowly progresses. But a week of 80s pushes everything along, too fast, too early. We were also in the Poconos ahead of the hard freeze. Here at Heckman Orchards near Effort, owner Mark Heckman told Newswatch 16, usually his frost concerns don't come until later in the season in May.
With the last couple of weeks there having temperatures in the 80s, really made everything pop ahead of schedule. And now we're going to have some cold weather, which is somewhat normal for this time, but the trees are a little bit advanced.
Heckman was watching his peach, plum, and tart cherry trees ahead of the hard freeze because they were already in full bloom. As for his apple crop, those trees are in the early stages of blooming and can withstand lows in the mid-20s without severe damage. If you have already planted or are looking to do so soon, something to keep in mind is it does not need to be below freezing for frost to form. If other conditions are right, like clear skies, light winds, and moisture in the air, patchy frost can form between 38 and 42 degrees. Areas of frost are likely between 37 and 33 degrees, and a widespread frost or freeze, of course, can and will happen with temperatures below 32 degrees. The average end to the growing season here in the Scranton area is around October 16th. Thanks for joining us this week. I'm Allie Gallo.
Now stay with us, because coming up in a little bit, we'll hear from some youngsters across the area who have some pretty awesome science questions, and they try and stump me with them. It's all next on Stormtracker 16's Cloud to Ground.
How do you track the weather? How do you predict what's coming, like the storm last night and stuff like that?
Well, thanks for that question, Kaylee. First one of our new show. And that's a great question on this bright sunny day. Well, there's a number of things that we do. First, we do the weather outside. We're on one of the only TV stations in the country to do that. Also, we have weather stations. Show them, Courtney, right there. We use these to help predict the weather. But the big thing, really what makes it so special here at WNEP, is our weather computers that we use to forecast the weather. So you want to see how the secret sauce is made? Let's take a look. Welcome to the Stormtracker 16 Severe Weather Set. Each computer station you see here gives the weather person access to our high-tech weather systems. I'll show you more on what these systems can do in a minute. First, let's talk about the set. Check it out. We have cameras all across northeastern and central Pennsylvania, from Williamsport to Pottsville, Wilkes-Barre to Forest City and beyond. This allows us to instantly see what's happening across parts of our region. Now, back to Kaylee's question. How do we know when the storms are coming? This is how. Now, the first thing we do when we sit down in the severe weather set is we look at this assembly of models that we have. And there's a lot of models to choose from. Some models only go out 60 hours, other models go out for 10 days. So it's really, really cool that you can look at all these different models. And here's one model that I just have you looking at over my shoulder here. Right there is northeastern and central Pennsylvania where my finger is. And this is showing the potential, look at this, for some rain showers. And guess what day that is? Saturday, so for the upcoming weekend. But this is a larger scale model. Let's boil this down and take a look at it just for northeastern and central Pennsylvania. And we can do that right here. This is Future Radar. We've been showing it on TV for decades. We can cycle through a variety of models which put the precipitation into motion locally and not just on a larger scale. By zooming in and pinpointing our location, this allows us to get specific on the timing of storms for the region. Instead of just saying some weekend showers and storms, we can now explain when they arrive, how long they may last, like Saturday morning through early afternoon. The rest of the weekend should be dry for your outdoor plans. But it's not just rain showers and storms. We can use this to tell temperatures, how hot and cold it might get over the extended period of time. We can also use it for predicting cloudy days and sunny ones. Now, obviously, we can use it for other things like snowstorm predictions, blizzards, tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, and more. It's a great way to showcase this technology and warn our friends like you when severe weather's on the way. We want you to be safe. That's the bottom line. That's why we've invested in this severe weather set, and we're here to serve you. We call these weather impact alerts. And when you hear us or see us issue a weather impact alert, you know severe weather's on the way, and it's best to pay attention. That's because we can show you if these storms are producing gusty winds, hail, lightning, or even tornadoes. These weather forecasting tools help us warn you in advance what may be coming your way. So if you're curious as to how we know when the storms are coming and when they may get there and what they may do, this is how. Modern weather forecasting technology has changed dramatically since I started my weather career back in 1996. It's so much more dependable and accurate. So there you go, Kaylee. That's the answer. We put all of that information that we just showed you together, and that's how we come up with our forecast. So thanks for your very first science class question, and here's our next one for next week.
What do you do if you get the weather prediction wrong?
Are you kidding me? Get it wrong? After all that info I just shared? Yeah, sometimes we do get it wrong. That answer next week. Class dismissed. See you then. Well, that's it for our show. We here at the Stormtracker 16 team hope you had some fun and learned a thing or two with us today. And don't forget, we're going to be adding more features that I'm sure you're going to enjoy. Of course, those shows, I'll add a Paulcast, and our very own Jeremy will share some of your best weather pictures. Plus, our very own runner, Antony, will be on the trail. Thank you for joining us on WNEP Plus. We are proud to serve.